Sports Talk. Let's go. What's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, and welcome to a very special Veterans Day edition of NFL Matchups. It is Week 11 in the National Football League. I'm going to get you guys ready for the week. We're going to be talking about and reacting to the firing of Brian Daboll, who was just fired yesterday, I believe. And then also we're going to talk about the Bills, the Buffalo Bills, and the disgusting loss that they had down in South Beach against the Miami Dolphins. And of course, it wouldn't be NFL matchups if we did not break down every 15 of the games going into Week 11 and giving you guys the keys to victory for each and every team if you're going to be betting these games. So you are in the right place for NFL football action. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is NFL Matchups with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go.
We're going to be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
All right, welcome in, everybody. How is everyone doing? Happy Veterans Day to all of those vets out there, including myself, my father. I have a couple relatives, cousins that are actively serving and who have also served themselves. So if you know a veteran, man, make sure you shout them out. Let them know thank you and appreciate you for your service. There's a lot of men and women around the world that have fallen and have taken a great sacrifice to serve this country. Whether you believe in the politics or whatnot, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, there are brave men and women out there who put their lives on the line to defend the democracy and everything that the United States stands for. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. So, hey, welcome to another live edition of NFL Matchups. Before we get started, too, make sure if you haven't already, subscribe right now to the YouTube channel at Clutch Sports Talk Podcast as well. I'm streaming live right now on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Man, you guys don't want to miss out. And also check out the Grid Network. We have a bunch of other content creators over there doing their thing. And if you're watching right now, man, shout me out, man. Say what's up. Happy Veterans Day again to all you guys out there that serve. And drop a comment, man. Do something. Like, subscribe, share the content, man. I really appreciate that as we move forward and finish this year strong. And we're just pushing through, man. It's Week 11, more than halfway through the regular season. We're just going to keep grinding here as we keep going along. And to open up tonight's show, man, we want to talk about Brian Daboll firing. He was fired by the New York Giants yesterday, and it felt like to me this was a breaking point for this particular franchise that was spinning out of control and actually has been spinning out of control at least since 2016, from what I remember. Now, Daboll was Coach of the Year in 2022, where I believe he took them, he led them to the wild card. I believe he was like 9-7, I believe, and everything looked up. Like, I mean, he got Coach of the Year. Everything was looking good for him. Daniel Jones, looking serviceable. I mean, that's why they brought him in from Buffalo. I mean, they saw what he was doing over there with Josh Allen. They thought, well, maybe he's another quarterback whisperer. He brings him in 2022. Again, make the playoffs, really good win in the playoffs. And then after that, it just kind of went downhill. Between 2023 and 2025, it just was a steady decline for Brian Daboll and the New York Giants. I mean, bottom 5 in scoring and passing, red zone efficiency, you name it on offense, it was disastrous. And that's not something you expect from a guy that was highly touted as a great offensive mind, who served under Nick Saban, was, in Buffalo during those formative years of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills turning into, I would say, a powerhouse, right? And that's why he got the job. And on top of that, the defense, for the most part, has pretty much underperformed throughout the couple of years here, although they've invested in high draft picks on the defensive line. And then really, I think the kicker is how undisciplined this team is. And you go back into this season right now, the 10-point digit leads they've had in games and end up losing these games. You go back to Denver, you got this past weekend against New York. It's a lot of that going on. And ultimately, I think that they were willing to move in a different direction. They feel like they have their quarterback in Jackson Dart. You've got Malik Neighbors. Your offensive line is pretty solid. You do got some guys that you've invested on the defensive side of things, especially on the front seven, and they're looking to win right now. And I think another thing that really shocks me with Brian Daboll is that his ability to, or inability to not, show discipline in regards to like Jackson Dart. Like, you're running quarterback powers. This is not youth football. This is not 10U football. Like, you can't take your quarterback and just have him running quarterback power over and over again. Like, and I get it. Jackson Dart's not going to say no. He's a physical kind of guy. He's tough, but you see the results of that now. He's fourth time he's been in concussion protocol, not looking good. And ultimately, too, what you think about with Brian Daboll, the whole Daniel Jones experiment. Daniel Jones was taken high by the New York Giants. And then on top of that, they figured, well, we get Daboll in, we can probably figure it out because he's this quarterback whisperer. And Daniel Jones really didn't turn into anything. And now he's over in Indianapolis having a pretty solid year. And overall, his inability to progress him along is why he's out of here too as well. So like they don't want to see the same thing happening with Jackson Dart. They figure, well, it's best that he get out of there now. And I think now the interim coach is it Mike Kafka, if I'm not mistaken, former NFL quarterback. I believe he played with like the Eagles. I believe he was drafted out of Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But I will say though, Mike Kafka has an opportunity. Like for me moving forward, I think for the Giants now, there's a couple guys out there that I've read. Mike Kafka right now is the interim. Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator right now for Seattle, the son of legendary coach, I believe John Kubiak. This is John Kubiak. He's doing some things right now with Seattle with Sam Darnold. And some wild cards out there. I've heard the name Lane Kiffin come around. I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to leave coaching. I think he's if anything, he'll leave Ole Miss and maybe go to Florida or LSU. That's a pretty enticing job there. What do you guys think in the comment section? Marcus Freeman was thrown out there too as well. And then a sleeper. And don't get on me for this, but Mike McCarthy is out there. And I get it. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, was I overly impressed with Mike McCarthy? No, but I think he is a stabilizing factor that I think a team that the Giants may need right now currently, I think. So he's not going to be a name that pops, right? Obviously, these younger guys maybe, but he might bring some stability that you need with a young quarterback and a defense and just a young franchise overall. And Joe Schoen, honestly, he's kept his job right now. I think Joe Schoen, he's been in the news a lot. Obviously, last year with the whole dealing of the situation with Saquon Barkley didn't end so well for him. They got rid of him. He ends up winning a Super Bowl. I'm not that down on Joe Schoen if you think about it. Like realistically, think about it. He gets Jackson Dart, he gets Malik Neighbors. He's got guys on the front line like Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Carter, guys that maybe hopefully can turn into some type of fruition here and get things going there. So I think he might have saved his job, but they needed to jettison somebody, and that guy happened to be Brian Daboll. And just the underperforming, the lack of discipline, blowing double-digit leads late in games. I think they seen enough, and I think they were ready to say, you know what, Mike Kafka, I think that's his first name, but Coach Kafka, offense coordinator now. He's the interim coach right now. Let's see what you got. And he has been thrown around a lot. I've heard that name come around a couple times in some hirings. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. But are the Giants in a bad situation? No, I think this is a good job. Obviously, you're dealing with the New York media, which can be a little bit a little pressure packed there, right? Obviously, it's New York. It's a big city. They love their football there. But the good thing is you're competing against the Jets, who are a dumpster fire. So you don't have to do too much more. The division, for the most part itself, is winnable. I know the Eagles are running away with it right now, but again, they have their quarterback. They got to get Malik Neighbors healthy. You go back in the draft, maybe you get another target there. But you got a good running game between Bo Scadaboo, Tyrone Tracy. There's some pieces there, I think. So it's not a bad job. It's going to be one of those jobs. If it does go vacant at the end of the offseason and they don't decide to hire Kafka, it's going to be a job that I think an offensive-minded coach would probably want to go ahead and get that. The only other guy I would think maybe, and it could be a wild card, is Brian Flores. I get it. He's a defensive guy. And those who've watched me know that I'm not a big fan of defensive coaches being head coaches. But in the case of Brian Flores, I think he did a pretty good job in Miami. He was definitely right about Tua. And we're seeing that now. But he might be a really good guy. You give him the pieces on defense that's already there, and then he just needs to go out and get a competent, efficient offensive coordinator. You might have something there. So we want to be on the lookout for that. There you have it. I mean, Brian Daboll, will he get a job? Maybe not as a head coach. Will he go back to college? Maybe that's a possibility, but he's probably more best suited as an offensive coordinator than a head coach. And we've seen that time and time again were guys that are not ready to be head coaches. And it's okay. Some guys aren't meant to be head coaches, and some guys are. And I just don't think Brian Daboll was in that position. A little bit too emotional for me. It kind of backfired on them early and often. And now you see where we are now. So, and I think the relationship between him and Joe Schoen, I think there was a little bit of disconnect. I think there was some tension in between those two. And I think Joe Schoen, that's why he'll probably end up keeping his job for at least another year. And Brian Daboll was just a sacrificial lamb, and now he's out, and the Giants are going to be moving forward with their interim head coach. So right now, if you guys are watching live on TikTok, man, hop on over to YouTube too if you want to. But those that are watching right now live on Facebook, Instagram, StreamYards, excuse me, not StreamYards, I'm on StreamYards, or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, man, drop a comment, man. Let me know what's up, what's going on in week 11. What are your thoughts going into this week? And I'll be sure to answer those questions for you. All right, moving on. Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills. It's funny, man, because I love social media, but I hate social media because they're every week there are people out there, and I don't count myself in this population or this demographic. I like to think I think things through a little bit, or I use data, right? A lot of the times, and sometimes I use my gut feeling too. But every week, people flip flop. And the people flip-flopped really quick last week with the Buffalo Bills after they beat the Kansas City Chiefs in a close game, mind you. I mean, that game was 7-point difference, 28-21, something to that effect. And then next, you go on social media, oh, the Buffalo Bills, now they own the Kansas City Chiefs. They're all the class of the AFC, blah, 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 blah. And you even get that now with the New England Patriots, but I digress. Listen, Buffalo Bills are a good team. Not going to say they're not. They are very good. Very good football team, strong football team, great head coach, great quarterback, all around pretty solid team on paper. Okay. So they beat Kansas City at home. Mind you, Kansas City did not play their best football. They just didn't. That's a fact. They did not. And they still probably won that game. Long story short, we fast forward to the week ahead. They go to Miami and they just get their ass whooped by Miami, by all teams, right? In a game where I believe they were minus 9.5 in what is called, to me, a statement game, but it really wasn't a statement game for the rest of the casuals. But in my mind, it was definitely a statement game. A statement game in regards to saying that, listen, you are the Buffalo Bills. You are supposed to be the class of the AFC. You just beat the defending AFC conference champs, a perennial Super Bowl team at home. And then you go to Miami and get your ass bust wide open. How does that happen? And then you got all these pundits, all these casuals, all these quote unquote football-minded people who really, in my opinion, don't really know, right? And they just go week to week saying, oh, this is what's hot. This is what the people want to see. No, this is a long season. And I get it. It doesn't mean that the Buffalo Bills are not a good team. I'm not saying that. But let's not just get into this whole opinion of like, well, they're good this week and that's it. We're moving forward. No, some of these teams, man, they've already shown you who they are. It's simple as that. Well, let's break down the game. So they go to Miami, and Miami just really has their way with them. As simple as that. A Tyreek Hill-less team. Mike McDaniel's on a hot seat. He's literally on suicide watch every week because we don't know what's going to happen. And he might get fired after every series. We don't know, right? Right? They're jettison players. It is what it is. And the Bills, in a spot where they were heavily favored, lose the game. How do you do that? So how can this team now be the class of the AFC? Mind you, they're not going to even win their division. And like I said, the Patriots, it is what it is. Good win for them, but I'm not on their bandwagon. There's one team in the AFC that I trust for the most part, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm not a homer. And no, I can't. And no, it's not that you can't talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and people get on you, but it's the facts, right? Do we think about it, folks? If you're watching right now, have you ever thought about, and correct me if I'm wrong, and listen, I'm not perfect, but just going through the catalog of my mind, I cannot remember the last time the Chiefs went into a game where they were probably heavily favored and they choked like that. They just don't do that. I mean, granted, they got the ass whoop in the Super Bowl, but damn, that's far in between. How many times have we seen the Buffalo Bills do this? A couple times, at least in my recollection, about a month ago against Atlanta, I believe it was on Monday Night Football, right? So they have a propensity of doing these types of things, right? And let's just talk about Josh Allen and this offense. When it looks good and he's not turning the ball over, it's, oh my God, they're unstoppable. I won't even argue that. But he tries to play hero ball. And when he gets frustrated because the defenses are stopping him, guess what? He is going to start forcing balls. He's going to start doing things that are just stupid. There was a play where he fumbled. He's carrying like 5 Dolphins players. Go down. You got the first down, my guy. Go down. Stupid turnover. But again, I'm crazy at the end of the day. Play calling is very predictable. It's Josh Allen or nothing. And they got guys. I get it. I mean, James Cook is a good running back, but they got no real threat at wide receiver. This team has to play a complete game every game to win, right? Their best, they threw everything at the Kansas City Chiefs. They threw everything at them, okay? And the Kansas City Chiefs almost won that game. So that tells me that the Chiefs, I get it. They're not in the playoffs today, and I get that. I'm not stupid. But let's just be real. There is a very high probability that the Chiefs are going to get into the playoffs, okay? Hell, they might even win the division still because I'm not even big on Denver. And that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to talk about them today that much. I'll give them a break. But we all know, if you got eyes, you can see, right? The offense is predictable. The defense, a little suspect from time to time. But they're too damn dependent on Josh Allen, and everybody knows that, right? And shout out to Miami. Great game. Tua looked pretty good, right? Great game for them. Great game for them. But again, I am not going to sit here and say, and I might be wrong. Maybe next week I might be wrong, but I'm going to go on a limb and say, you know what? They are probably not even the class of the AFC still. They're not even the class of their own division, right? And this might sound like a hot take, and I might get roasted for this, but and again, I understand where everything is at right now, where the chips may fall. Kansas City is gonna be okay, folks. Just think about it. I'm big on quarterback play, right? Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs versus Josh Allen. Come on. Who do you think is going to win that game? And I'm not going to even say who I think it is because you already know, right? Patrick Mahomes versus Drake May. Come on. Who's going to win that game? Patrick Mahomes versus Bo Nix. Come on. Again, Patrick Mahomes versus Daniel Jones. So you see where I'm going with this? You know what I'm saying? So don't fall for these week-to-week analysis because teams are week to week. And I get that. It's a very long season. It is a marathon, folks. It's definitely a marathon. Okay. Shout out to everyone listening on TikTok right now, man. I appreciate you guys. If not, man, head on over to YouTube too as well. You guys can subscribe, like the content there, man. I'm pushing that as well too. If not, you can sit tight right there. I'll try to answer your questions if you guys have any questions on TikTok. If you're watching live on YouTube, man, make sure you drop a comment in there too as well, man. We are moving. But before I move on at the end of the day, man, you know, if the Bills want to, I'm nobody. I'm just a guy here in Las Vegas, just doing whatever I do as a hobby. This is not like my day job or whatever. I do this for fun. But I've watched a lot of football, man. I'm 41 years old. I've been watching football since the early 90s. I'm not the end all be all, but I've seen a lot, man. And what I mean by seeing a lot, I know a lot of history. And what's the old adage, right? History always repeats itself at some point, man. And you got teams that come and go, but there's some guys or some players or some coaches that you can always rely on. It's kind of like it's like gold, man. Like money depreciates, it's in value, it's inflated, but gold. And guys like Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs, they're like gold, man. They never depreciate in value, and so therefore you can't go against those type of players and coaches and schemes until they're just dead in the dirt. And I'm not willing to do that there yet with them. And I don't think that the Bills, although they won in the regular season, it means nothing because when January rolls around, what are we going to be talking about? The Kansas City Chiefs. Fuck all the other teams. Pardon my French. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. All right. Let me know what you guys think, man. Am I tripping? Like, am I way off base? I mean, because I know there's some stupid people out there. There's some, I won't say stupid. I'll be respectful. There are some mentally challenged people that will sit here and die on this hill that the Buffalo Bills are like legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. All right. PG Network, it says Chiefs going to prove a lot of people wrong. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. My boy Swagholic, man. Appreciate him, man, on TikTok. He's laughing his ass off right now because he knows. He knows, man. He knows ball. He knows. He understands. All right, what we got here? Any comments here on YouTube? Nah, man. You guys are lame over here. What's up, man? Let's get it going. All right. So listen, let's get into this real quick because it wouldn't be NFL matchups if we did not break down the games, right? I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on some of these games and some keys to victory. So Thursday night football, we got a doozy, right? We got the Jets on the road taking on New England. New England's 11.5 favorites, at least when I pulled up the data. Over under 43.5. Listen, Patriots should win this game. You're at home, coming off a big win against Tampa Bay. That is a good win. I think Tampa is a really good team, dealing with some injuries on the offensive side of things, but very good team, well coached. So I'm not going to poo-poo on them for that, right? But again, let's not get into this whole they're going to win a Super Bowl. Like, let's just be real. Like, that's laughable to me when I hear that type of shit. All right. Anyway, keys to victory for the Patriots. It's pretty simple, man. Dominate the line of scrimmage early and often against the Giants, a Jets, team that is without Quinnen Williams, who was recently traded to my Dallas Cowboys. So take advantage of that, which they should be able to do. As far as the Jets are concerned, you got a booty-ass quarterback in Justin Fields. You're going to have to find a way to turn the ball over. This guy cannot throw. I can probably go out there and get probably 20 yards better than Justin Fields. And I say that tongue in cheek because I know realistically it probably couldn't happen, but maybe there is a slight chance that I'm probably a better quarterback than him at this point in the National Football League. But at the end of the day, I would probably take the points on this game because listen, when you're dealing with the NFL, it's not like college. I will say the Jets are going to play with a lot of fire and passion. It is a division game. I don't think they're going to win, but I probably would take the plus side on this one only because I don't think that this is going to be a slow roll 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em type of game. I don't think either offense is going to kind of go up and down the field. So if I'm betting this game, I'd probably go plus 11.5 on this game and maybe even look at the under on this one if I'm playing that type of situation there. But at the end of the day, if you want who's going to win the game, more likely it probably should be the Patriots. But if I'm betting this game, I'd probably do the plus for the Jets. Okay. All right. Early morning on Sunday, we got the Washington Commanders on the road taking on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins coming off a really good win against Buffalo. Washington Commanders, what the hell is going on with them? I mean, the wheels are coming off of that train really quickly, right? Obviously, Dolphins minus 2.5 though at home. Over under is 47.5. Miami, you have to lean on the running game a little bit here. There are a lot of injuries on the Washington Commanders side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. Deron Payne probably going to be suspended for this game after slapping the shit out of Amon St. Brown. So the middle of the defense should be pretty much wide open, and that should allow that play action with Tua to get going. So that's something that they're going to want to shoot for. Washington, you're going to have to find a way to tighten up the secondary, son. As simple as that. You're going to have to find ways to reduce the big chunk plays because they still got some guys out there that can make some big chunk plays like a Archan or Waddle or even Darren Waller. I don't know what his situation is, but they got some big play guys out there. In the end, at the end of the day, Miami should win this game. I'm going to take the points and go minus 2.5 with them. I do like the Dolphins to win the game at home against a reeling Washington Commanders team that really they have no hope at the end of the day. Like, what are they playing for at the end of the day? I don't know what the stats of Terry McLaurin. Obviously, Jane Dan is going to be out for the foreseeable future. It is what it is. However, though, I mean, it is the Dolphins too. It is the Dolphins, but I can see how maybe you can make a case for the Washington Commanders because they did get their ass beat a lot of times. And you do see a lot of teams that get their ass beat like that. They bounce back, but I would take the Dolphins to cover in this one. All right, LA Chargers at Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are the underdogs at home. The Chargers are favored minus 2.5. Is that right? I think the line might have changed to 3 in some spots there. Breaking news: Travis Hunter's out for the year. No shock there. No shock there. At the end of the day, listen, Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know how you blew that lead. I don't get it, man. Davis Mills. Granted, the Texans got a good defense. I know that when you look at their record, you're like, oh, the Texans are not even that good. They're booty this year, right? But that defense, man. Will Anderson, one of my favorite young edge rushers to watch, man. That dude gets after it. But Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, listen, I'm not a big fan of them. However, this is a tough spot, I will say. Chargers having to go from the West Coast to the East Coast, play early start, right? That has been a struggle for some teams in the past. And when you go down to places like Duval County, it's like the Bermuda Triangle of the world in a weird way of football. Weird things happen to West Coast teams that go there that have to play early. If this was a later start game, I can maybe see the Chargers blowing the doors off of these guys would, but I'll give you my picks here in just a second. But as far as keys to victory are concerned, Chargers, you got to pressure Trevor Lawrence. Just get after him. Brian Thomas Jr., what the hell happened to him? I don't even know if he's available this week. Travis Hunter is out. They get Myers, whatever his name is, Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. Who cares? Okay. All you got left is Etienne. So Chargers, you got a good shot there. But at the end of the day, Jaguars, you're going to have to find a way to be balanced too. I get it. You don't have the receiving core that you might have thought you would have had. But they're going to have to find ways to run the football, mainly run that football, get play action going, and try to find someone open. But in the end, I think it's going to be too much. I think the Chargers overall are the better team. The Chargers are not a fun, exciting team. Like, you think the Chargers would be fun and exciting, but they're not. You got Justin Herbert, blonde hair. He's supposed to be slinging it down the field. He doesn't do that. Jim Harbaugh's team, they run the football. They play tight defense. It's a slow, marinated type of game. I like the Chargers to win this game straight up on this one. I wouldn't even look at the odds on this one, but I like the Chargers to win this game. The over and under on this one is 44.5, but I do like the Chargers. Yeah, my boy Swagaholic on TikTok, he says the Chargers are boring. They are boring. Like, did y'all watch that Sunday night game? I mean, I had to switch to watch MLS soccer. That's how boring that game was. And I like soccer, but I was watching San Diego versus the Portland Timbers. For those who watch MLS soccer, it was a more intriguing game than what I was watching on Sunday night, and that's how bad it was. And I'm a football guy, and I'm being honest with you. All right, we got Tampa Bay at Buffalo. Bills reeling. They're coming back home, reeling off of that loss to Miami. They open up at -5.5, over under 49.5. I like the over on this one, by the way. But anyway, keys to victory: protect the football. Josh Allen, for the love of God, man, stop forcing throws. I know you got a huge cannon of an arm. Protect the football, my guy. If you can do that, you got a chance, right? And convert in the red zone. Buccaneers, control the tempo, control the clock, run the football, keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands as much as possible. If you do that, you got a shot. In the end, though, low key, this is an upset alert. I like the Buccaneers on the road to defeat the Buffalo Bills in a close one. And I like the over on this one, but I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in a clutch sports, what do you call it? I don't know. Shocker of the week. I don't know what you want to call it, but I'll go with that. I do like Tampa Bay in this one. All right. Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings. Listen, I'm again, like I talked about other people before, I am not on this Bears bandwagon. I don't think they're that great. If Jackson Dart doesn't go down against them last week, the New York Giants win that game, period. But anyway, I digress. Vikings -3 as the favorites, over under 48.5. Keys to victory: Vikings find a way to improve third down conversions and to sustain drives. You got to keep your offense on the field and just get after it, man. Score some points. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Jordan Addison. You got dudes, man. Make some plays. J.J. McCarthy, he's shown some glimpses that he can do that. He's going to have to continue to do that, and we'll have to wait and see. As far as the Bears are concerned, Caleb Williams, to me, I'm not high on him still. I don't think that he's good. He's solid, but maybe he's getting better from week to week. But they're gonna have to ramp up their pass rush. I mean, when you're playing a young quarterback like McCarty, who's not, I guess he's not a rookie. This is his first year as a real starter. You're gonna have to find a way to do that, which I can see them doing that. Force him into some mistakes. I think they're gonna have to live on the defense a little bit more in this particular game because Brian Flores is gonna be eating out of the palm of his hand, or eating out of the palm of their hands with that defense. So in the end, though, I do like the Vikings to win this game. I think this is going to boil down to whoever makes the fewer mistakes, which I think is going to be the Vikings. I like the Minnesota Vikings to cover at -3. I'm taking them as well. All right. What's up, Jules? He said, what's up, bro, on TikTok, man? What's up, brother? How you doing? Guys, if you're watching on TikTok, I'm also on YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe over there as well, too, man. I appreciate that. All right, check it out. We got Green Bay Packers at the New York Giants. This is an interesting one. Packers didn't look good last night. Jordan Love, very inconsistent. Again, another guy that is crowned so early. Like, this is what kills me with people. Oh, Jordan Love, man, he's so great. He's the best. And then he does that type of crap that he did last night. Like it's at half, I think the guy was under 60 yards passing, if I'm not mistaken. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Right. But it's like, and I get it. Philadelphia's defense is decent, right? At best. And he's supposed to be this guy. Oh, well, Ryan, he didn't have Tucker Kraft. I mean, I get it, bro, but you still got other guys that are playing. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And Giants, it is what it is. Lame duck coach is gone now. They might come out with some fire. I think early the Giants will come out with some intensity, but if it's Russell Wilson going to be the quarterback, they're pretty much cooked. They are pretty much cooked. Packers should be favored -8.5. The Packers have the explosive playability. They have to take advantage of that. Jordan Love has to hit wide open receivers. Simple as that, right? You can't miss Romeo Doubs. He's got that big old Guardian cap on his helmet. How do you miss that dude? Like, really, how do you miss a guy like that, right? At the end of the day, Giants, self-inflicted wounds. You guys, they can't continue to have stupid penalties that maybe kills drives or extends drives. Like, listen, as a coach, I'm willing to live with certain like action penalties. But what I mean by that is like every now and then a pass interference, holding, because all those things can be subjective, right? And I understand that. I don't get mad at my players if they get a holding penalty or a pass interference, because that could just be interpretation of that referee. But when you get false starts, offsides, like the snap count. How are you false starting? Stupid stuff like that. Like, if you're on defense, offsides, are you not watching the ball? Those are the things that piss me off as a coach, and those are the things that are happening to the Giants. That's why Brian Daboll is out of there, because they don't have the discipline. So at the end of the day, the Packers should win this game. They should cover this game at -8.5. Although I think the Packers are one of the worst teams when it comes to playing worst talent, because they play down to the talent. So I can see this game being early, as far as like it's going to be close, but in the end, if Russell Wilson's the quarterback, the Packers should take care of this game. If they don't take care of this game, don't even look at them as a contender, because they're not. All right. But overall, I do like the Packers at -8.5. I was going to bet this one. So looking at that, so that's what you have it right there. All right. 7th game, we got Houston Texans at Tennessee Titans. Another team that fired their coach a couple weeks ago. Rookie quarterback. Texans -7.5. Great comeback from behind win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. What was it, like 29-6 or something crazy like that? And they just scored like 19 unanswered, something crazy like that, if I'm not mistaken. Davis Mills was slinging that thing. Listen, at the end of the day, you got a young quarterback. What's the best thing you do as a defensive guy if you're playing a young quarterback? Anybody comments? No. You get after the quarterback. You send everything at that sucker, and you can't. And you got a young quarterback in Cam Ward. You better get after him, right? And keep them one-dimensional, which I think they can do with that defense, with that edge rushing, right? At the end of the day, the Titans, they're going to have to find a way to establish the line of scrimmage, which I don't think they can. So with that all said and done, I like the Texans to win this game. It is a divisional game, so I'm going to take them on the money line to win this game. Over under, though, it's 38.5. You don't know. I don't know if it's Davis Mills. Probably still. I'm gonna have to look at this one a little bit longer for me to make a decision. But it's one of those games that I circle that's like 38.5. It's a little interesting. And I'm not an unders guy, but this type of game, I might want to look into that a little bit. So we'll see. All right, Carolina Panthers at Atlanta Falcons. Panthers screwed me. I had a 3-team parlay just for fun. I would have hit, but these jerks, they lost to the Saints at home. So I'm a little pissed off about them. But at the end of the day, we got the Falcons at home -3.5, over under 42.5. Falcons, I mean, they're coming off of a pretty tough loss on the road in Berlin against Indianapolis, where they could not stop Jonathan Taylor. Like, Jonathan Taylor literally touched the ball and poof, he's like 200-something yards from line of scrimmage. Falcons, another team that had a lot of high hopes, and quarterback play isn't great. And they got weapons. It could be coaching. Not could be. I think it is coaching at the end of the day. And they're kind of screwed though. You're paying Kirk Cousins $20+ million, if I'm not mistaken, to be a backup, and he's not even a good backup anymore. He sucks. After that Achilles, he's not the same. He's better off setting life insurance or something like that. Right? I think, he's in Atlanta. I think Primerica, that's their headquarters. He's probably should go be a Primerica insurance agent at this point, because him being a quarterback in the National Football League, it ain't $30 million. Someone said $30 million. That's, oh wow, even worse. $30 million to suck as a backup quarterback. Yeah, just let that sink in. Michael Penix Jr., A lot of people were high on him. I'm not. I wasn't. Like, and I'm not trying to be a hater. It's just, and maybe he needs another year on his. I don't know, man. But he just, maybe I don't watch enough Falcons game, right? But riddle me this: what is something that he does that just pops off on the screen when you're watching him, right? I don't see it. I don't personally, I don't see it. So let me know in the comment section. What's something about Michael Penix that when you watch him play, you're like, damn, woo, he's slinging it. He's a playmaker. The only thing that comes to my mind when I think about Michael Penix Jr. is that damn do-rag. That's it. And for me, that's not what you want to be known for, is the do-rag. If you're a quarterback in National Football League, it shouldn't be the do-rag that we know you for. So, but it is what it is. But I digress. As far as keys to victory, Falcons, man, listen. Their secondary gives up a lot of big plays down the field, and they can't make mistakes because the Panthers, if Bryce Young can see over the line of scrimmage for a couple seconds, he can make those throws down the field. I will give him that. So they're going to have to tighten that up. Panthers, they're going to have to be aggressive early and often, get after this secondary for the Atlanta Falcons and do it to them and do it to them quick, especially when you're on the road. It is a divisional game, and these two teams historically have played themselves to a close game a lot of the times. I like Carolina in an upset on this one. I really do. I think they're feeling themselves a little bit. They probably thought, man, we should have beat the Saints at the end of the day. I think they're a little bit better than what they showed last week, right? Because how do you go to Green Bay and play that game and win that game? And then you come home and you drop a stinker like that. I'm not saying that they're legitimate NFC contenders, but I think they're better than what they showed last week at home against the Saints. So I do like Carolina in an upset straight up on the money line on that one, especially if they do what I'm telling them what to do. So here we go. All right, we got Cincinnati Bengals at Pittsburgh. Odds here: Steelers -5.5, over under 49.5. Steeler fans, what else can I tell you guys? They were so gung ho. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, man, he's 41 years old, man. 41 years old. Well, what do you expect? He's not young. Again, people fall for some of the stupidest things, like, oh man, he was looking great week 1 against the Jets. Oh, look at him, man. And now, week 11, looked like straight basuda against the Chargers on Sunday night. They have no offense. They spent all their money on defense again. A good friend of mine who was a Steelers fan, Bryson Carver, the Carving Up podcast, check him out. I told him, why did you pay TJ Watt so much money? You're not going to win meaningful games like that. And don't get me wrong, TJ Watt is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not disputing his talent, what he's done for the league. DK Metcalf was a nice signing. I will say that, right? But they didn't do anything else. They didn't do anything else to help Aaron Rodgers, right? They have no offensive firepower whatsoever. And I thought they would have made a move for somebody before the trade deadline. Okay? And they didn't. And now you got this old defense, and I got to refrain from cussing because TikTok is going crazy on me right now. But like, here we are again, another team that invests so much in defense and then they suck on offense. And I don't think it's the play call. I think Arthur Smith is pretty decent. I think they just don't have the guys. They don't have the guys. And maybe it's time to move on from Mike Tomlin. But you can't consistently spend top 5 money on your defense and not contribute anything towards the offense and be expected to win in an offensive-driven league. Okay, simple as that. But as far as the Steelers are concerned, they're gonna have to not fall behind early, because if they fall behind early, it's over. It's over. I get it. They're playing Joe Flacco. He knows this team very well, right? Obviously, he played in the AFC North for quite some time now. Bengals defense, I don't know what you're gonna do. I will say they have a break because they don't have to worry about playing a very potent and efficient offense. So the defense is going to have to find ways to get more possessions to give to Joe Flacco. And whoever controls the trenches will win this game. With that said, just because the Steelers defense is better, I'm going to go with the Steelers to win this game. I don't think they'll cover. I don't think they'll cover. If this was -3.5, maybe 2, I would go with that. But I don't think they'll beat the Bengals by 5.5. I don't think they'll have enough firepower. I don't think they will. So, but I will take them to win on the money line, but I don't think they'll win and cover the spread on that one. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. All right, we got, let's see, San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. A very interesting game here. Cardinals just got shellacked. Got shellacked in Seattle. So bad, CPS joined, went up to Lumen Film. Was like, hey, man, we got some reports that some kids out here were getting beaten. No, not kids, some grown men. I mean, that Seattle just, I mean, golly. And I like Seattle, man. And I'll talk about them here in a second during the next game I'm talking about. But Arizona, what are we doing? 49ers -3, favorite on the road, which I'm not surprised. For whatever it's worth, 49ers, they're like a mass unit right now. They got guys injured. They got so many people injured. Some of their family members are injured. That's how bad it is in San Francisco at this point. But they're well coached. Kyle Shanahan's done a tremendous job with Mac Jones. And listen, even in that Rams game, I know that they got their doors blown off at the end, but they were trying to hang in there a little bit, man. That defense is doing all that they can with Robert Saleh, but they just don't have enough guys at the end of the day. So I'm not surprised that they're favorite. 49ers, as far as to win this game, they're going to have to find a way to continue to be balanced on offense, keep the ball out of Jacoby Brissett hands, which I think it's possible. But they're going to have to just be balanced. They can't lean either way, run or pass too heavy, just be balanced. So as Cardinals, be aggressive. You got a guy like Mac Jones who is not very mobile. So take some early shots on this guy. And just get after him. And I think that's a chance. And I think at the end of the day, whoever to me is more efficient in the red zone, because I think both offenses are going to be good enough to get down there, is going to win this game. And I trust more the 49ers, their red zone efficiency, than the Cardinals at this point. And I think although the 49ers are dealing with some injuries, I do like their defense a lot better than the Arizona Cardinals. And at the end of the day, they're just better coached. And I think, Jonathan Gannon, is that his name for the Arizona Cardinals? He's doing all he can, right? I know they look great against the Cowboys because, listen, who doesn't look great against the Dallas Cowboys at this point? I mean, a couple of my friends and I can probably score on the Dallas Cowboys defense. I'm keeping it interesting. I mean, I'm keeping it real right now. We got a question here from TikTok. He says, Nelly 7-9. My brother is 9-1. I'm 4-6, and he just sent me a trade wanting Jefferson for Waddle, Swift, and MHJ. Who's MHJ? Maybe I'm trying to think who that is. He wants Jefferson for Waddle. I don't know about that one. Jefferson not having a great year in regards to fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. Marvin Harrison Jr. Thank you. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. with Jacoby Brissett. At some point, I think Kyler Murray's going to go back in there. I think he is. I think they're going to try to, because I think Brissett's going to get hurt at some point. Because I think they got to play Seattle again one more time. But so he's saying he's trading. He wants Jefferson, so he's going to give you Waddle, Swift, and Jr. Ooh, you know what? That's actually, if I'm reading that correctly, that actually might be a little bit enticing. Swift is really good right now. For the Bears. Yeah, I that might be worth considering, because you're getting 3 for 1 if I'm not mistaken, right? So 3 for 1. All right, moving on. But in the end, I like the 49ers. I digress, but I like the 49ers to win this game. All right, Seattle at LA. This is a big game. This is a very big game against two teams that I think have a chance to make a run at the NFC Conference Championship game to get into the Super Bowl. Rams open up at -2.5, over under 48.5. Rams have to establish the run. They're going to have to find a way to establish that line of scrimmage quickly. The Seattle Seahawks have a very good front seven. Guys like Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, some other young guys that they picked up. That secondary is so versatile, right? But you're going to have to find a way to neutralize and control that line of scrimmage. Seattle, you're going to have to try to get out early against the Rams, because the Rams do have the firepower. Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, they're hitting on all cylinders now. What's his name? Devontae Adams, 2 touchdowns, I believe, this past Sunday. This is going to be a good one. If this game was in in Seattle, I probably would have gone with Seattle. But because it's in LA, I'm going to give them the edge on this one. I like the LA Rams to cover. I think they win by a field goal. But this is going to be one of those good games. This is the one you want to sit down and watch, because this has playoff implications. It's going to feel like a playoff game because both teams are well coached. I love Mike McDonald, I love the offensive playing calling and Kubiak. Sam Darnold's a really good quarterback so far, and I like what the Rams are doing. Matthew Stafford is playing out at an MVP level. This is what you want as the NFL. This is the product that you want on the field. But in the end, I like the Rams to win this game. It's going to be tight. All right, we got – I need to swig, man. I'm thirsty as hell. Kansas City at Denver. Guess who's favorite? On the road. The Chiefs, -3.5. Over under 45.5. What else can I say? Chiefs, listen. Just do your thing. That's that. If I'm giving a speech before the game, you guys know what to do. It's the Denver Broncos. Come on, you guys own them. Let's get it done. All right, Broncos. As far as their game plan is concerned, Bo Nix has not looked good, and I know everybody was on this dude's tip. I mean, swinging like just swinging. He's okay, folks. I mean, he's not like Terry. He's not all that bad. But he ain't looked that good recently. And he's making Sean Payton look pretty foolish. So they need to stop with him trying to go deep every single time. Run the football. Let your defense play good defense. What's the word? Complementary football. That's what they need to get back to doing. Time of possession matters when you play teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. Because you know why? One of the most dangerous men on the field is on that team. He happens to wear number 15. And you don't want him nowhere around the football, especially not more than your team. So at the end of the day, run the football, dink and dunk if you have to, but keep his butt off the field. But in the end, the Kansas City Chiefs should win this game. I think it'll be a good one at the end of the day, but I like the Chiefs to win this game. I like them to win. The way Denver's been playing, kind of getting by week to week, it catches up to you at some point. The Denver Broncos remind me of the Minnesota Vikings from a couple years ago, right? For those who remember, I think it was Kirk Cousins last year. They were just winning like really close games by the skin of their teeth, right? And they were like, oh, the Vikings are legit. And then they get to the playoffs and they just go, they crash and burn. Crash and burn. So their defense is legit. I will give them that. But offensively, I am not that sold on Bo Nix and the rest of that offense. So I like the Chiefs to win this game on the road. All right, 2 more games and we're out of here. Baltimore Ravens at Cleveland Browns. Ravens getting back into things, man. I'm telling you, like I said it last week. If Pittsburgh loses and the Ravens win, because we already know the Browns suck. Bengals, they are what they are. The Ravens have a chance to get back into this and maybe win this division and get a chance to get in the playoffs. Now, I don't think they're a contender, but Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, they give you a chance, right? And as far as this game is concerned, they are favored, -8 on the road against Cleveland, against a really good defense, I would say. But the Ravens just what they have to do is just not turn the ball over. Continue to convert opportunities that you get and not turn the ball over, and that's it. Browns, just stay consistent. It might be time to move off Dylan Gabriel here in a second. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders can do any better, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in there so we can see people just shut up about him, because I don't think none of the quarterbacks that they took were worth a damn, in my opinion. Whether he's black, white, yellow, green, blue, Turkish, pink, it don't matter who he is. Both of those guys really aren't NFL quarterbacks, and that's my opinion. Simple as that. But as far as keys to victory, Browns, man, you can't have so many 3-and-outs. You can't do that. You can't again, it's kind of like going back to Patrick Mahomes. You can't have explosive players on the other team getting the ball more than your team. And that's going to be a problem. So, but in the end, I do like the Ravens in this one. I kind of like the money line on this one. I wouldn't take the points on this one. I like the Ravens on the money line to win this game. All right, this is a big one too. We got Detroit and Philly. Philly coming off of a very snoozer of a game last night against the Packers. They come back home. They open up at -1.5. This is almost a pick 'em to me. Over unders at 40, 48.5, but I've seen other lines who are 49.5. Eagles are going to have to find a way to exploit the mismatches in the secondary that they have, right? That's what they're going to have to do. They got playmakers. It doesn't boggle me, but it might boggle some people how A.J. Brown doesn't get any love or any touches, because the reality is, and people are going to say I'm hating because I'm a Cowboys fan, but the reality is that Jalen Hurts, he is a good quarterback. Is he an elite quarterback? No, I don't think he's elite in regards into terms of playing the game. In playing the position, right? He'll win a lot of games, and he's done that. He's won a Super Bowl Super Bowl MVP. He's won a lot of games, right? But it doesn't mean that makes you a very elite type of quarterback, right? We saw that last night. You saw that last night. And it could be play calling. I don't know how you don't get A.J. Brown the ball anymore. And I think he's done after this year, which is crazy to me, but it is what it is. I knew they weren't going to trade him because why would you trade? Why, as Howie Roseman, he's big on keeping talent and getting talent. Why would you trade one of your best wide receivers? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. So I'm not surprised that he's still there. But for the love of God, get this man the rock. And you should be able to do that against a Lions secondary that it's decent, but it ain't that great either, right? They've been known to give up some big plays down the field, and you got those guys in Philly that can do that. As far as the Lions are concerned, run the ball. Run the ball, keep Philly off the fit, keep the offense off the field, and just continue to pound them. Pause. Offensively. Okay. You do that, it's gonna be tough. You're gonna be on the road. It's probably gonna be a little chilly, right? It is Philly. I mean, I'm not from there, but I can only imagine it's what mid-November. It's gonna be a slight little cold, maybe a little breeze out there. But this is going to be a tough one. This is a more of a statement game, I think. It's a statement game for both teams, because the Lions, they've had opportunities too where they're like, okay, well, we look like we're the team, but then they kind of like, I won't say they get blown out, but they have lapses. Philly, very inconsistent all year round, very inconsistent. Whether it's the quarterback play, Saquon Barkley can't get things going. But at the end of the day, whoever has the more big plays is going to win this game. I'm going to lean Detroit. I did pick Philly to win last week, but I'm going to lean Detroit this week to win this game in a close one, probably by a field goal, but I'm going to go with the Lions at the plus and take them. All right. And for our Monday Night Football game, we got the Dallas Cowboys coming here to my city, Las Vegas, to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Cowboys open up at -3.5. Over under is 50.5. Take it. Take that. Cowboys got to start fast. Start fast off offense. If you're Dak, take the ball. Because that defense is buns, as the kids would say. Very buns. Although they've added some guys to defense, Quentin Williams and Mike Morgan, the linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals. But if you're the Cowboys, you got to start fast. You got to get out open. Try to have the Raiders play catch up. And if you're the Cowboys, if you're the Raiders, man, you got to be disciplined. If you're Geno Smith, you're gonna get chances. This defense is not that good. At least the secondary isn't that good, and they really didn't do anything to address that. So you'll have chances. You'll have chances there. But at the end of the day, I think the additions of Quentin Williams and Mike Morgan, I think his name is Mike Morgan, should help the defense out just slightly. And I think they're going to get some guys like Overshown back from injury. That's going to help their defense a little bit better. Dallas Cowboys offense is way better. And it's going to be essentially a home game because Cowboy Nation will show up in Allegiant and be proudly representing in their blue, right? Because let's just face it, this is not the Oakland Coliseum. It's not the same environment and very corporate. I remember last year I went to a Cowboys-Raiders preseason game, and it damn near felt like a Cowboys home game. They drowned out the Raider fans. I will say that. So I like the Cowboys to win this game on Monday Night Football, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Cowboys fan. Go back and watch my episodes. I do pick against the Cowboys, and I'm very critical on the Cowboys. So with that said, but I do like the Cowboys to win that game anyway. All right. There you have it, man. That's it. We went through all the games going up into week 11, all 15 games, man. Love them, like them, leave them. Make sure if you guys are watching on TikTok, subscribe, man. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, man. Check me out on Instagram as well at clutch.sports.talk, man. I appreciate you guys for watching the episode tonight. I may hop on a little bit later, man, on TikTok, man. So check me out over there if I go live. Show some support. I appreciate you guys you're watching, man. Listen, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, including myself, my father. Again, I have a couple relatives that serve. I got some active duty service members that are related to me, man. Listen, it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and some people can't. I'm not taking shots at folks, but being a active duty member is not easy. It's not easy at all, man. It's a sacrifice that these people make time and time again. There's people deployed all over the world that are sacrificing, spending time away from their families, so that way we can enjoy freedom and prosperity. And I get it, despite your politics, whatever you believe in, whether you're left or right, in the middle, man. at the end of the day, we are all Americans. We all love football. And that's why I love doing this show, because football, athletics, sports brings everyone together. That's one thing we can all agree on, is that we love football. So keep that in mind, and make sure if you know a veteran, make a shout out to them. Tell them thank you, and it'll tell you it'll go a long way, man. I appreciate that. And funny story before I get out of here, I was at Sam's Club. So West Coast, we have Sam's Club. I know some of you guys on the East Coast have BJ's. It's like a wholesale warehouse. It's like Costco. There was an older guy, probably in his 80s, late 80s. He was all decked out, man, had his Marine Corps stuff. And I said, hey, thank you for your service, man. And you can tell, like, he was just like, wow, like, thank you, son. I appreciate that. Because, at the end of the day, I don't know what conflict he was in, if he was even in the conflict, but he supported this country. The least we can do is give him thanks. So if you know a veteran, man, shout them out, and I'll leave it at that. So that's all I got this evening, man. I will be back next week, Tuesday, and we'll be breaking down what took place in week 11 and getting you guys ready for week 12 in the National Football League. Yeah, week 12. Crazy, right? So other than that, man, enjoy each other. Enjoy the rest of your evening. This is your boy, Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk. NFL matchups, like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys next week. Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go.